cortisol gets spiked so high when you're stressed about money because money truly runs everything that we do. There's a huge correlation between the impacts of Americans using their healthcare and having to just receive healthcare in general because of the financial stress that they've incurred over their lifetime.
I believe that 1000%. Today, I'm joined by Rebecca Smith, Marketing Director at BeneMoney. Rebecca, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I run the marketing for BeneMoney, which really encompasses more than marketing. It's really anything that drives revenue for the company and awareness. Awareness and revenue are kind of the two things that I focus the most on. And the reason that BeneMoney even exists is really to help people get access to financial needs when they don't have access, right? I help to bring awareness to employers to help them provide the right tools so that their employees actually get the financial help that they need. A lot of people don't understand that there are people really struggling with money. A lot of US citizens, they don't have access to cash in the same way that some others do, and most people don't even have emergency savings. There's some pretty crazy stats around the state of emergency savings in the US.
But if you have any off the top of your head, we'd love to hear a couple.
Only 46% of Americans have enough money for 3 months to live, right? They have that much sitting in their emergency savings. And I think it's 27%, so one of those only have enough for 6 months saved in their emergency savings, which really just isn't enough. If you were to have to replace your dishwasher or your car breaks down or something happens or you can't take your kids to daycare, right? Like that's going to be a really big issue, especially when you think about the way that people get paid.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them, they're not necessarily salaried, right? They're working on an hourly basis where like they have to physically be there in person to be able to put money in their pocket.
Right. And so that's why you can say like you're one dishwasher away from losing your savings.
Exactly. Especially when you think about some of the stuff that's going on just with the weather around the world, right? Like you have Hurricane Aaron on the East Coast. You have droughts going on in other parts of the world. There's fires everywhere, especially during the summer. And like those are things that even though people live in areas where this can affect them, that is out of their control, right?
Before we dive into the solution, what are other pain points that you're seeing?
Some of the biggest pain points that we see are employee productivity, employee absenteeism, and also health impacts. So those first two, they really impact the employer, I think, more, where people don't show up to work because they have to deal with some kind of financial issue or because they physically can't make it, or they're mentally just not there because they're thinking about their finances. I don't have the stat off the top of my head, but there was a really recent study that just came out where they're saying that a lot of the health impacts that Americans are experiencing are actually stemming from financial stress because your cortisol gets spiked so high when you're stressed about money because money truly runs everything that we do, right? It pays for your home, it pays for the roof over your head. And so they've actually come back to say that there's a huge correlation between the impacts of Americans using their healthcare and having to just receive healthcare in general because of the financial stress that they've incurred over their lifetime.
I believe that 1000%.
Oh my gosh, right?
Yeah.
So being able to provide a benefit to people where they're able to get access to cash in a secure and affordable way that actually helps them to build credit and helps them to solve the problem with education underneath it, that's really going to make a huge impact. And it makes me really passionate to show up to work. And, you know, not everybody can say that they're passionate about what they do.
And financial stress is, as you already laid out, it's just so far reaching. Tell us what you do at BeneMoney.
We're a voluntary benefit that employers can offer their employees that gives tangible physical access to capital. So if you need a loan from $1,000 to $5,000, employees are able to take a loan out without pulling a credit check. We do not rely on credit in any way because so many people have not so great credit. If they were to go to their local payday lender, it could be 300% of an APR, which is super high, right? A credit card, a typical APR for your credit card is 24.99. And so we offer loans $1,000 to $5,000 with a fixed interest rate so that employees, they get access, they're immediately approved. There's nothing that they need to stress about. And then it gets repaid over automatic payroll deductions. So it's money they don't even see. They don't even have to worry about it. Everything happens behind the scenes, but they get access to the cash for whatever emergency expense or whatever it is that they want. We actually don't ask what it is they need it for. So we've seen people want to take their kids on a vacation because they've never taken them out of the state they live in, or just like to do something fun, right? There's been some where it's been to pay for funeral expenses. COVID, there was definitely a lot of stuff that came from that as well, of just needing to pay for kind of pandemic related expenses. But but it's really it's cash for whatever somebody needs.
I'm obsessed with this. I think that's so helpful. You work, you're getting a regular income, you should have access to money when you need it. Is this something that they're looking for as an employer, or is it really something that people stumble upon and it's like, oh, I didn't know I could offer this to my employees?
Yeah, so that one is actually something that I would say is probably our biggest challenge as a company is that a lot of times people just stumble across it, right? Because they don't even really realize that this is something that they can offer. And if I think about it, this is from the employer's perspective, right? They are inundated with so many different benefits out there, so many. And like when you think of the traditional benefits, right? We're thinking healthcare, we're thinking 401k is life insurance has kind of become a typical benefit now too. Like those are the things that are really, really popular to offer. But why isn't financial wellness? Why isn't that part of right your traditional benefit offering? Especially when we start seeing that a lot of the health issues that people have come from financial stress. But it's a bit of a challenge because there are so many other things that are pulling employers and HR and benefits teams in so many different directions, and they're just inundated with options. So,
and what does growth look like for you, and what is your major goal the next 6 to 12 months?
Brand awareness is really important right now, though, especially because of all the noise that is out there in terms of the financial wellness programs. So, brand awareness is one of our biggest pushes for the rest of this year and into next year. And then, of course, right, we would like to bring on as many employers as we can because we know that this actually helps. This is going to help people, and we can see it. And we get feedback every single day from employees saying that this is something that they're so happy that their employer offers. And then when they give the actual details of what they're using the loan for, like giving us some of those tangible feedback, it's so amazing to be able to read and see that it does, it's changing people's lives.
Right. Absolutely. Well, brilliant. And is there anything else that you're looking forward to? Any industry trends that you wanted to mention?
Industry trends, not necessarily an industry trend, but something that I think is really important for us to look at too is inflation, right? It's just a never ending conversation. Honestly, inflation at this point could be considered a buzzword because people are talking about it, but that's not going to go away, right? And so, one of the things that comes up a lot with employers is that they see this program or they see financial wellness and they say, we pay our employees really well. Why would they need something like this? And I'm like, you pay your employees really well. I believe you. That is it. We love that, right? That's great. But you have no idea what is going on behind closed doors. You have no idea what people are struggling with. You have no idea, right, what kind of hardships or maybe like their spending habits. Like you're not in control of that, right? And so I think it's really interesting just to remember to kind of like take that lens off and just, I guess, get reminded, right, that financial wellness is something we should be talking about. Money is something we should be talking about. And there's no harm in offering something to your employees that's going to help them, right? It's only going to make it stronger. It's only going to make your organization stronger. And I think that's just a really good reminder.